man. Hi, I and my buddy Joe English are sending our regards, and today would like to do some ACT English section test questions together. So without further ado, let's share the PDF. Okay, right. Today's passage is entitled My Favorite Lunch Spot. My Favorite Lunch Spot. Let's have a look at the first question. A few blocks south of the apartment I am renting, Joe's lunch bucket serves up amazing sandwiches. So here we notice a few blocks south of the apartment I am renting. There's no need to put a comma between the apartment and I am renting, right? So we should say south of the apartment I am renting, comma, Joe's lunch bucket serves delicious sandwiches or amazing sandwiches, right? So H here is the best answer, right? There's no need to put a comma between the apartment and I am renting. It's just one thing, the apartment I am renting, because originally it is the apartment which I am renting, right? Yeah, so the apartment I am renting, best choice is H. Let's move on to 17. Yeah. He says the restaurant is the end of an alley. At the end of an alley, the restaurant is, that's subject verb agreement, and this is correct. There's no need to change anything. So 17A. All right. How about number 18? Let's see. You can see the big public fountain in the adjacent square. Again, there's no need to put after the fountain, comma. So there's no need for that. Fountain in. So 18G. The best answer, 18G. Okay, we can see the big public fountain in the adjacent square directly. There's no need for a comma between fountain and in the adjacent square. Sometimes we put a comma after the prepositional phrase if we use it at the beginning of the sentence. Like, for example, if we start the sentence saying in the adjacent square, comma, you can find at the big fountain. But if it is in the normal position, there is no need to put a comma before the prepositional phrase at the end of the sentence. Okay? Yeah. So for example, if you say, I live in 10 Mercia Street, for example. So there's no need to separate the I live, all right, the beginning of the sentence from the prepositional phrase. If you put the prepositional phrase at the beginning, in 10 Mercia Street, comma, I live, because in this case, it is not in the normal position or the regular position of the prepositional phrase. Okay, so this clifting is done to focus on that prepositional phrase for whatever reason. If it's a prepositional phrase of time or prepositional phrase of place, if it is mentioned at the beginning for reasons to catch the attention or something, then we put a comma after that. Other than this, there's no need to put a comma. So here in 18, G is the best answer. How about 19? If we read 19, okay. I like to sit at the bar along the window and relax with the sinfully deliciousness of Joe's special Reuben. All right, so we know that if we have a noun and we want to describe the noun, then we describe the noun with an adjective, right? If we describe another adjective, we might use an adjective or we might use an adverb. But here, sinfully deliciousness, no. We may say sinfully delicious if we modify another adjective or an adjective, then we can modify that with an adverb. But since it's deliciousness, a noun, then we should change sinfully to sinful, as in C. So C is the best answer. Sinful deliciousness, because sinful is an adjective and deliciousness is a noun. To modify the noun, you use an adjective. But if you want to modify an adjective, such as saying delicious, for example, then you use an adverb. Then in that case, you would say sinfully delicious. But here we use deliciousness, so we say sinful deliciousness. So C is the best answer for 19. How about 20? Okay, 20. Let's read it. Newcomers to Joe's who have never seen his creations. There's no need to say that because since they are newcomers, they didn't see his creations. So, and as you know, on the ACT, being shorter is better. So the best answer is G, newcomers to Joe's without completing who have never seen his creations, because since they are newcomers, they didn't see his creations yet. So the best answer is G. And why did we choose it? Because it is the shortest answer, and it is the best answer. Sometimes the shortest answer is not the best answer, so we got to be careful. Yes, in many cases, shorter is better on the ACT and SAT tests, but you should make sure that it is the most suitable answer or the correct answer. Okay, let's move on to 21. Okay. Marvel at the stack of corned beef and sauerkraut spilling from the bread onto my paper plate. Yeah. So here he is separating these two after sour kraut and spilling from. We shouldn't do that because this is not another sentence. It's just one big sentence. So the best answer is D. So we should say stack of the corned beef and sauerkraut spilling from the bread onto my paper plate. Okay, so we should not use. Remember also, they say on the ACT and SAT, if you have 4 choices and one including punctuation and one without punctuation, usually the one without punctuation is the correct one. But make sure to read them and make sure, I mean, the other choices, and make sure that the one without punctuation is actually the best one for the question. Because sometimes there's a prompt in the question saying which answer is not acceptable. So you got to be careful. Are you choosing the right answer according to the prompt or the one that is not acceptable according to the prompt? Okay. So here D is the answer. Let's move on to 22. Here is another prompt. For the sake of logic and coherence, sentence 4 of this paragraph should be placed. All right, that type of questions, as I told you before, it requires a bit more time than the other questions. So it's better if you leave it to the end and come back to it later if you have time. Read carefully. If you don't have time, use the process of elimination to eliminate the 1 or 2 answers you are sure are wrong, and then you just have to make a choice between the 2 remaining choices. Because this type of question requires you to go back to each of these sentences and then decide which one logically would be placed where exactly, after this sentence, before this sentence, and so on. So if we go and read this sentence, yeah, he's talking about sentence 4. Should we put it before sentence 1 or after sentence 2 or after sentence 1? Let's go to sentence 4. I have never stopped to read it, and as far as I can tell, neither have the other regulars. Read maybe the menu. So let's go back to see. Yeah. 1, Joe has a menu stuck to the front window with masking tape that is yellowed and cracked from years in the sun. So I think after this sentence, if we just say, where's number 4 here? I have never stopped to read it, because this at refers back to the menu that's uh, being taped or put on at the front with a yellow tape or something. So the best answer here is J, right after sentence 1. Put sentence 4 right after sentence 1. Okay? Now let's move on to 23. Yeah, again, we have a prompt here. Let's read the prompt. Which choice most effectively guides the reader from the preceding paragraph into this new paragraph? Okay. Joe's is my home away from home. Yeah, he's saying that he feels at home there at this eatery or restaurant. Okay. Uh, the sign outside is hardly eye-catching, and the restaurant always appears to be dimly lit, but one cannot help noticing the large smiley face decal affixed to the front door that reads, "Keep smiling, keep smiling." All right. So which choice is the best one as a transition from the previous paragraph? Um, Joe takes good care of his property. No. Maybe Joe learned his sandwich secrets at culinary school. No. Good food is the key to Joe's success. Yeah. So he's saying that although the place is not a wow place, is not a really fantastic place as a restaurant, but what's special about it is really the food, the good food. That's why people keep going there. So D provides the best uh, progression or transition from the previous paragraph. D is the best answer. Okay, let's move on to 24. Uh, let's read it first. His constant ugly expression belies the care that he takes with his meats. Yeah, so he puts a comma between belies and then the cares. So there's no need to separate the verb and the object, and that's quite obvious. So the best choice is J. Okay? Yes, the best choice here for 24 is J, because we should say his constant ugly expression belies the care that he takes with his meats. Okay? Belies the care directly. There's no, it is not acceptable to separate the verb from the object. I'll give you another example, like when you say he wrote his homework or he wrote the homework. Okay, we should not put a comma between write and the homework here. So when we say Michael wrote his homework or Michael wrote the homework, we should not put a comma between write and the homework. It's not acceptable. Yeah, it's the direct object or the object. So we should not separate the subject, the verb and the object. Also, it is not permissible to put a comma between the subject and the verb. So when you say, for example, he swims well, we should not say he, comma, swims well, right? It's not acceptable. Also, it is not acceptable to separate the verb and the object using a comma. So the best answer for 24 is J. Let's now move to 25. Okay, let's read it. The oldest refrigerator case clicks and whines constantly. Clicks and whines constantly. Yeah, so should we say clicks to whine, or should we say as in B or C clicking and whining, or D click and whine? No, we should just say it as it is, because the refrigerator is a singular subject, and so we put an S on the verb, so clicks and whines, right? So he's just trying to give us an image that everything in the restaurant might not be brand new, but people keep going there because of the quality of the food, which is the most important thing. So for 25, it's A, the best answer, because it's a case of subject-verb agreement. The subject is singular, the old refrigerator case. This is a singular subject. So we should add an S on the verb. So we should say clicks and wines. Okay, let's now move to 26. At this point, the writer wants to add a sentence that would further describe the condition of the restaurant. Which of the following sentences would best accomplish this? Should we say, regardless of the appearance of the place, comma, I still enjoy my delicious sandwich? Yes, I think this would be the best thing because this is the main idea now. Despite the old stuff in that restaurant, even the refrigerator clicks and wines, as you just said, and the menu is stuck on the front or of the restaurant using a very old yellow tape, etc., and other things he describes, but still the food is very good and he enjoys the food. So F is the best answer here. Okay, let's move on to 27. I know much of their faces. We don't say that because faces, this is case of countable noun, so we should use many with countable and much with uncountable. So here we should say, I know many of their faces by now, like the customers who are regular and go there every day or all the time. So here it's case of which one to use with countable and which one was non-countable. Much, we use it with non-countable, like we say much sugar, much water, much blah, 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 something that is not countable, but we say many, many faces, many rooms, many places, which is countable. All right, so the best answer is B. We should say many faces. How about 28? The writer is considering deleting the following phrase from the preceding sentence: chicken salad, corned beef, and the like. So let's read the preceding sentence. Older people like the classics, chicken salad, corned beef, and the like, right? If the writer were to make this deletion, the essay would primarily lose what? So this is for 28. Well, foreshadowing of the conclusion, or irrelevant information, or specific descriptive material, or an understatement of important information. No, he's saying specific descriptive material. He's saying a specific thing, like the corned beef, the chicken salad, the blah, blah, blah. So he mentions specific things. So it would lose as an H, specific descriptive material, H. Okay. Let's now move on to 29. Let's read it together. Back home, comma, as I am reminiscing on this place, I picture all these people with their favorite meals. Is it a no change, or when? B, when I am back home and reminiscing, comma, I picture all of these people with their favorite meal. I think this is a better structure for it. Okay, yes. When I am back home and reminiscing, comma, I picture all of these blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So here, back home, comma, and then reminiscing, blah, 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 comma. It's just one sentence. So when we use when, it's subordinating conjunction, and then we have the dependent clause, and then comma, and then the independent clause as one sentence. So B is the better choice or the better answer here. So how about number 30? Okay, let's read it. It is nice to know that Joe's lunch bucket and its neighborly ambience are just a short walk away. Yeah. So we should not put a period here as he already done that here. It's wrong to do that. So we should say Joe's lunch bucket and directly its neighborly ambience are just. So H is the best answer. It's one sentence. It's nice to know that Joe's bucket and that is the name of the restaurant and the neighborly ambience are just a short walk away. This man likes this place very much, and so he says it's good to know that this place, Joe's place, or this restaurant is a short walk away, so I can always walk there whenever I want. So H is the best answer. The best thing to do on the ACT or the SAT is to be calm, even if you miss some of the questions. Don't worry, because if you get nervous, you will lose marks. Do not also leave any question unmarked, even if you don't have much time at the near the end of the test and you still have some questions. Use the process of elimination. Eliminate the answers you are sure are wrong, and then make a choice, very quick choice, learn, guess, and so trying to answer the rest of the questions. Some of these may be right, and so you won't lose their marks. Good luck for everybody, especially for those who are taking the April ACT test. And I'll see you in the next one.